All right, good morning. It's another Sunday, and we're back to do some coding. So, um, let's see, where are we at? Let me get Godot going. I'm still on 4.4 because the NixOS package hasn't been updated yet as of, I think, yesterday. So, just waiting on that to get updated. Because I can't be bothered to it's not like I'm doing anything, right? Where it's like, oh wow, 4.5. There are some cool looking things. I was looking at the list of new stuff in 4.5, but there wasn't anything that was like, oh, I have to have this. Oh, I see. I'm trying to figure out why this. Okay, OBS thing. Anyway, so we do have some changes since the last time in our tower defense game. I think let's see. Well, let's just play the game and see where things are at, right? So the hotbar here is changed a bit. We can't place things if we don't have money, so we have to do this like I have to manually click the zombie, and I need to tune like you get currency. I guess we're using the dollar sign here. Oh, there's hover over too. Yep. So we can right click this and we can actually change the yeah, lots of things to tune in terms of costs of things, how much hit points things have, how much damage things do, and obviously the graphics as well. Right? So we're just with the same box wall shape for both the wall that we had and the turret here, and then yeah, you can. I guess we can put the same thing on multiple slots. Oh, clear doesn't work, huh? Clear. Clear. Wall. Clear. Okay, so clear doesn't work. Okay, let's fix that. That's a good place to start. Another thing that I did was I introduced this idea of obstacle type resource. So we're extending resource, and we're defining all the things that make an obstacle. This is effectively a defense, right? So like a thing, it's a tower defense game, so it's the tower, right? Except we'll have walls, we'll have like turrets or other things that will attack the zombies, that sort of stuff, right? And the thing I haven't gotten to yet is like these unlock conditions. So I'm imagining something like a tech tree where I don't know, maybe I did want to do a thing with achievements as well, and maybe those will tie in. Like the achievements will be the things that you do that will unlock different obstacles, right? Anyway, how? So we have a hotbar script, and there's something that should happen. In fact, we have. Yeah. I think since last time, I redid how I said I was going to redid instead of doing printing to the console, where we have a logging class. And it's a logger. There we go. So we have an auto load that has a set of functions that we can use to log with different levels, and then we have like colorized logging. Yeah, so also this should probably be, let's make this a little bigger. There we go. Get rid of that. What was the last commit? Oh, game speed controls. Okay. All right. So, on obstacle menu, item selected, cleared slot. Yeah, reload from disk. Stop. So when we were trying to clear, we didn't get that log message, right? We got right click, raycast did not hit anything, showing obstacle selection menu for slot 2, assigned wall to slot 2. So how does this work? Okay, so show obstacle selection menu. We obstacle selection menu pop up on parent. So what is obstacle selection menu? That's that. Okay, how do we interact with this? So clearly, yeah, we do add items. We clear and rebuild the menu when we show it. Add item, clear slot -1. And add a separator. And so add item here. Param ID can be optionally provided as well as an accelerator. What is accelerator? Get item accelerator from our phone accelerators. Interesting. Okay. So presumably, well, let's go look here in UI. No, in Godot is frozen. Goodbye, Godot. It just crashed. Let's try it. Press play to start the game. What? Oh, right, we're on the game tab. What? Not used to seeing that. All right, so we have a. Well, where is it? UI, utilities UI. Is that it? Where is? Oh, I see. Common UI. Hotbar. So there's that script, which is right where we were, but I wanted to look at the scene. Because we can see here's the obstacle selection menu, which is hidden by default. And do we have signals connected? We do. So when something is pressed, we call on obstacle menu item selected on the parent, which is on hotbar. So on obstacle menu item selected, on obstacle menu item selected. So that's this function. If current configuring slot less than 0, what is current configuring slot? Interesting. Okay, let's add a debugging log here. Should it be a warning? What is the function of current configuring slot? Also, tip. And this is what I was looking for when I was hovering over this, right? So it just says var current configuring slot defaults to -1. It's an int, right, where it's defined. But if you use 2 pound signs, you actually see this comment when you hover over it. So very convenient. But what does being configured mean? This is the slot that is being interacted with when we show the selection menu. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, well. Oh, there's that message. All right. And we reset it once we're done. Cool. What happens though if you... I guess it's fine. One possibility I was thinking of is like if you open the menu. I can't even show. We could run the game and I could show what I'm talking about. But just imagine, right? You right-click one of the slots to change it, and then you click out, which presumably should dismiss the menu. And then the only way you get back to the menu to trigger this callback is if you right-click a different slot or the same slot, resetting this. So a thing that could happen is current configuring slot could be greater than or equal to 0, but actually the menu isn't open. So just kind of, I don't think that matters here. Was last right click for configuration. May not be valid index or current if no menu open. What does that look like when we... Okay, cool. What does this have to do with fixing the clearing? Nothing. Just me understanding what this is all doing right now. Do we... So apparently you can do this. And this is something you would do in Python. I think just because this is an expression. Like, I don't think Godot has the idea of docstrings as a thing. But old habits, I guess. It's harmless. So we're not seeing this logging message. Oh wait, I just added this. Yeah, this can be a warning though. All right, that is. Before I went on the sidetrack of like, what is the meaning of this variable? Yes, should this be a warning? I think so, because we shouldn't be calling this if this is not set. But this is not getting called, but ID should be -1 when clicking the menu item. Clear slot. It's not being set anywhere else, right? Just here. Okay. Maybe provided param ID is only used in ID pressed and ID focused signals. It's not related to the index arguments. The problem is that the default here is -1, which probably means the implementation of this method add item will do the thing it says, right? If no param ID is provided, one will be created from the index. So -1 is not an acceptable value there. I think probably what we want to do is we want to actually change this to be 0. And then when we call add item, we're just going to add 1 to the index, right? There we go. Yep, that comment is true. Thanks, Copilot. And then... Okay, that takes the index and not the ID. Yes. Yep, cool. So... wherever that callback is. Let's update. This is fine. Yeah, this is fine. Oops. Cool. So here we go. Here's the callback. On obstacle menu item selected. So the ID, if the ID is 0, then yeah, the clear slots option was selected. Otherwise, the ID I don't think I need this condition here. The gotcha is this needs to be less than equal to available size, and it's -1. Yeah. Is that the only place we use ID here? Yes. Cool. Yes. Okay, so I think maybe that will fix our issue that's preventing us from being able to clear the slot. Right, so if we clear, hey, it works. Let's see. Things I would like to do. Does our pause? Yes, that works. Wow, never mind. It doesn't work anymore. Oh no. Oh, they're not toggles, are they? The play should be a toggle. Okay. Well, good news. We fixed a bug, and now we can fix another bug. Great. And I was worried we might not know what to do today. So that's not really. Fix issue preventing. Clearing of hotbar slots. One of the things I do want to do today is I want to go back to our this one. Go back to our Excalidraw here, right, where we're keeping track of kind of what we're doing project-wise. And so yeah, we've done these things, but as I've been thinking about this project, I've been thinking about like what I want to get out of the project, right? Like each of these practice projects are in fact practice projects for me, learning Godot and getting back into doing game dev, which I say getting back into, but this is probably, I think I said this last stream, this is probably the most focused attention I've given on doing game dev stuff ever. But it's like a lot of my hobbies is kind of like, you know, chipping away at things for a while over the years. But anyway, so I want to think about kind of like higher level what I want to take away from this. So like, yeah, we figured out some 3D stuff, but I still am not. I think art asset pipeline stuff maybe is probably the let's update this. So kind of sort of had this because we have the idea of you manually click the zombie, but art asset pipeline, set pipeline, game polish, essentially what I want to do with this project is kind of carry it forward a little bit longer, right? So the other ones were more focused on specific things we wanted to do. Like the Pong game, we just learned a ton of really foundational stuff about how to do stuff in Godot, and then break out how the levels work, and curves were the thing. High score list, template repo, Minesweeper, like all that tile stuff was great. Mouse interaction, platformer, learned a ton of things. Tried out like dialogue stuff, and this is where we start getting like these games, like touching on bigger parts of Godot and add-ons like the camera stuff as well. That probably will be parts of the game I want to build. As I figure out what that game is, right? Which is a whole other thing of like, I think the opportunity with this tower defense game is more Blender practice. 2D, 3D art practice. Prac. I can spell, I swear. Yeah. So, and eventually this game, right? This is where I want to go once I figure out things. I think that the scariest thing about this game is that it is something that I feel like the game I want to make is going to be very it's going to be a lot of characters, a lot of dialogue, a lot of like conversation, and making that engaging and fun alongside of the other aspect of the game, which is this little the phrase that just popped into my mind, and I guess I'm going with, is like pocket AI, right? This AI core that you get near the start of the game that is kind of the thread and the plot device of the game, and the key for like a bunch of the mini games that'll be in it. But anyway, so I have some stuff there for that game, but I want to spend more time on this to practice stuff. So here we are. What was I doing? I was going to fix a bug about being able to toggle play and pause, right? Resume game should resume game, but it doesn't. Right, I can't interact because the game speed has been changed to 0. But I can click these, so obviously that does work. Okay, so let's figure out what's going on with that. So, speed controls, the script. Okay, so so on pause pressed, I think, is the function that gets called when we click this button. So that behavior needs to be slightly different. So this needs to be a toggle, right? I wonder. Oh, this should be fine. Yeah. So, so the game manager is a thing that I introduced a few days ago, and it provides a set of functions to do things. So set the game speed, pause and resume the game, maintain state, and provide signals that things can hook onto to like listen to these state changes. So why isn't the other thing calling pause game? Well, we don't actually, it is a pause button, but that's not the same thing as truly pausing the game. For our speed controls, the pause should just set the time scale to 0. I should read this. So the speed multiplier at which the in-game clock updates compared to real time. So 2.0 makes the game run twice as fast. 0.5 runs half speed. So it affects timers, SceneTree timer, all of the simulations that make use of delta time. So process and physics process. It's recommended to keep this property above 0 as the game may behave unexpectedly otherwise. So is it bad that I'm setting this to 0? I don't know. Let's think about that. Maybe. Because I want two different things. So there's a game pause. Like if you would escape, you get the pause menu. To be able to like... well, I say it's the pause menu. It's not really the pause menu if we have a separate like time control for pause, right? So what we have is we have this. Oh, hey, Ether Streams. Thanks for the follow.
Ether Streams just followed.
Steams, not streams. Thanks for the follow. How's it going? So we have this menu, right, which will eventually give us like the ability to change controls or settings or whatever and quit out and those sorts of things. That's all well and good, and we want that to interact with this, right? So when we resume, well, yeah. So we want it to go back to 1x speed if we return from the menu. But when I use the time controls to pause the gameplay, I don't want the menu to appear. I just want the game speed to be 0. But I still want the buttons here to be interactive. In fact, I want, if I set this, if I resume and I click this button, just like right now, this is all interactable, right? But if I hit escape, then you can't interact with anything. Hey, Joptimist. Hello. Welcome. How's it going? How, I guess the question is, it says it's not recommended. It may behave unexpectedly, but it does say keep it above 0. So I wonder if it's negative, it's bad. I don't know. Brainless. Hello. Another cute emote. I don't know that I've seen that one before. How's it going? Good morning. Oh, hey, thanks for the follow.
Joptimist just followed.
Appreciate it. We're gonna get to our next follower goal eventually, maybe. if I stop missing streams. All right, so I think the main a thing I could do, right? So this is when we click the pause button. We set the game speed to 0. If we just change this to be like, if it's greater than 0, set it to 0. Otherwise, set it to 1, like Copilot did for us right there. I guess that works. Doing well. Just opening my eyes. How am I? Good. It'll be nice. Conceptually, it sounds nice to sleep in on a Sunday morning, but I would hate to ruin my sleep schedule. Because, you know, meetings throughout the week, but it sounds nice. I know you are a few hours ahead of me. I'm doing good though. Finally got out of bed and came down, got my coffee going, and got the stream going. So can't be too bad. So if we do this, I think this will work, but we probably need to call update. No. So because we're using the game manager to set the game speed, I think when we do that, we do emit speed. Oh, we emit speed changed. We don't emit game state changed. Do we? Oh, we do. We do call update button states when the speed changes. Nice. Okay, so that kind of completes that loop. So I think this will work, right? So if we restart the game, and I pause it, yeah, and then we have a play. We got that zombie T-pose running. And we have 4x speed too. Now, this is cheating. Oh, well, is that cheating? Let's see. So I can't move the camera in this mode with the game paused, but I can click the zombie and do damage to it, but only once because there's a timer. There's a timer on my attacks as the player, just like there would be for like any turrets or anything else, right? So we can 1x this. So I can get a free shot, right? In fact, if I pause this, I think I get 1 free shot per pause. So, well, no, not really, because the timer still has to cool down. Okay, I think this is fine. But now I can buy a turret. Why does that turret have 90 of 100? Kind of some weirdness there. Probably should figure out. Anyway, what did you say, Brainless? Yeah, it's 1 p.m. here, but I don't have a sleep schedule. I gave up on a long time ago. Yeah. I mean, there are pros and cons. Good thing is now I'm a light sleeper, so I can just sleep 3 hours and jump into a meeting. Sure. I can envision doing that. I wouldn't want to though. All right. So, jankiness aside, this does actually do the job of fixing the pause button to toggle between pause and normal speed. So we'll push those changes up. And then what? What are we doing? Well, like I said, high level, I do want to figure out like some art asset stuff. It felt very actually let me expand upon these words a little bit. So like models, armatures, animations, etc. So when we grab some free art from Open Game Art, supplied by Kenny over here, that's our zombie model. And given by the fact that our zombie is T-pose running, obviously I think things are not quite right with how I imported everything, but it seemed very challenging to like pull in the animations and that stuff. So I do want to spend more time on that sort of thing, and we will. One of the things that I envision for this game is that like if we launch this, let's speed things up and then pause. Oh right, we want to be able to move the camera? Do we want to be able to move the camera while the game is paused? If we do, then we might have issues. If we set the game speed to 0. Right? Because I'm using controls for the camera and nothing is happening, right? Why? How do the camera controls work? And why do they not work when the game speed is 0? Is that in the main game script? Let's get rid of that sidebar. Let's see. Aha. This is the sort of thing I'm looking for, but this is not interfering with our ability to move the camera. Where is the... Oh, here it is. Don't process camera controls when paused. This is something that someone wrote. Copilot did this. Do we... I think these things are fine to allow while the game is paused. Okay. Yes. Besides being helpful for being able to like explain stuff, it also means that still doesn't work. Still can't zoom in and out or maneuver. Okay. Why not? Because it's controlled by Delta, right? So the calls to processed are so that conditional was pointless because none of this is going to run if the if the game speed is 0. Do we and we need delta because we want to know how much to shift things based on how much time is elapsed with the inputs happening. Huh. So, one thing we can do is maybe move this logic somewhere else into a node where, like if we look at the main node, there are process options, right? Mode. So always process keeps processing and ignoring SceneTree.paused. Maybe we don't want to set the engine speed to 0 to pause it. Maybe we want to use SceneTree.paused to pause it. Yeah, let's go down that path because I think that's going to prevent a bunch of issues. Let's see. Game speed. What? Okay, let's start from game manager. That'll give me a point to find stuff from. So we have this pause game. This is going to be different than the behavior we want for... Do I want to do it that way? Maybe I'm going to think about this a different way, right? So right now, the idea of the game being paused and the idea of having the options menu open are linked together. They're like synonymous. And then I have this other idea of a kind of a pause that's the game speed is 0, and that's separate. What if I think about this in terms of if the game is paused, that's different than being in the menu, in the in-game menu, right? So we have a main menu, playing, pause, game over, and victory is kind of our game states. If we have a different state called in-game menu, do we want a paused state? Do we need a paused state? Maybe not. So we have state in the scene tree paused being true or false. We're not going to set the time scale to 0, but we won't change the game state between pause and resume game here. Instead, we will literally just change getTree.paused to true and false. I think in resume game, we will, when you resume, when you unpause, set the game speed back to 1. Actually, I think maybe I won't. Maybe I won't. One thing I probably need to do is have hotkeys for speed controls. Yeah, we should do that. Okay, so for now though, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give her a pause as a state. Pause game is simply going to do this. Unpause is going to do this, aka resume. Set game speed, I'm gonna have a thing here that says if it's less than or equal to 0, we're gonna log that as an error, and then we're gonna find where we're calling this. And instead of doing all of this, did I have a toggle function? No. Do I want just a toggle function? Yeah, except that doesn't work. That's not a thing. We do getTree paused. If it's paused, resume, otherwise pause. I mean, why even do this when we can just say like var tree, getTree, tree paused, not tree paused. Yep. Okay. And then change a bunch of things. Game manager dot toggle pause. And then we're going to provide a is paused function. There we go. And cool. Okay. All right. And then that will make things work basically the same, but slightly different. Let's try this. Oh, it's doesn't work. Main.gd line 117. Can I not double click this? Aw. Main.gd line 117. Okay. Only handle other inputs when not paused doesn't matter because I don't think we handle. Yeah, I don't think that matters. Yeah, probably other things where we're checking paused. Toggle pause. So we do that. Oh, I see. We handle pause here. But guess what? This is much easier because Game Manager provides toggle pause. So there we go. So this is our input handling for the escape key to cause it to pause. But we don't actually want... yes. This is fine. This does not do the thing that we actually care about, though, which is that when we hit escape, it brings up the menu. That is different. So for that, what we want to do is we want to add a new method to our game manager called... Let's do it down here. show in-game menu, hide in-game menu. Yeah, I think that's fine. Right, so this could be like a whole state machine, but for now we should only be in the in-game menu state if we came from the playing state. So leaving the menu should take us back to playing. So here we also want, here's a question, do we need this function? Why can't we just do game manager.toggle pause? And then we don't need this function. Where did I just make that change? There it is. Okay, so if input dot is action just pressed, toggle in-game menu. Do we want to do all of this, or do we want to just have a toggle in-game menu? Game manager.toggle in-game menu. Great. Do we actually want these separate functions then? Maybe not. Of course, we don't have this key or some other keys. Let's go back to Godot. Let's stop this and play it and see. Yeah, more issues. Let's search for paused. So here. In-game menu. There we go. So the pause menu is listening to the game state changed signal from the game manager, and now we can just say show the pause menu when in-game menu is the game state, and when we switch back to playing, switch it to hide the menu. Cool. And then we have an example in our Copilot instructions. It's now out of date. So in-game menu. Yeah. Sure. Sure. And that's fine. Okay, cool. So we can hit escape and the game is paused. And yeah, and then we're stuck because the game is paused. Did we have a signal or a log message about pausing and unpausing? Probably should have something there. So, let's do a logger debug. Yep. Okay, so we can maneuver around. If I hit the pause button, everything is locked up, and oh, what are the 323 errors? Oh yeah, we have not defined a toggle in-game menu button. Probably should do that. I wonder. Yeah. Okay. Let's deal with that before we do anything else. Stop the errors. Okay. Input map. Create a new action called toggle in-game menu. And that will be down here, and we're going to set this to be escape. Yep, there we go, escape. And then toggle pause, we're going to change to be spacebar. That doesn't conflict with anything, right? Yeah, cool. Let's run that. So now, if I hit pause, that paused the game immediately. There's no log, but the game is definitely paused. If I hit space again, we're wedged, right? Because the thing that is listening for the inputs is paused, so it can't do anything. Okay, so how do we fix that? Well, let's go to our main node and say process should be always. This is probably going to break things, but that's fine. So we can pause. I can hit escape, but I can't pause because everything inherits from main. But what's interesting, right? So I can hit space, but it's still not logging anything. It's weird. I should figure that out. If I restart, oh, that doesn't do anything either. I can quit. Also does not do anything. That's fun. That should quit the game. What happened there? Oh, okay. Lots of bugs. Great. Stuff to do. Okay, so why is our message from the game manager, like our logging, not showing anything? Have we... What is the current log level? Is that something that is visible in project settings? Yeah. So log level 1 to me. Yeah. Okay. Playing run animation, I think is playing run animation. There it is. I think I'll get rid of these completely. Okay. Alternatively, I could introduce a like a trace level debugging or something. That might be a thing to do. So if I hit space, there we go, toggling pause state, but that's not respected, right? Because everything else inherits that's pause or process mode from the root node. What did Brainless say? Oh, I thought chat had moved, but it hadn't. Never mind. An old message. I'm not excited about the idea of going through every single node and changing the process mode to pausable. So the alternative would be to move some of the logic from the main node to a separate node so that it can have mode always. I think that could be a thing that we do, though. Yeah, so that would just entail... Spawn test enemy. I don't think this is used or referenced anymore, so this is dead code. Goodbye. Just kind of thinking about what we would need to move. And what that would mean for us, right? So we would need access to the camera. We just make like a camera controller node. I mean, honestly, that's the main thing that's annoying right now. I want to be able to pause the game and still move around the camera. So maybe well, I guess the question is, should this stuff actually just be a script attached to the camera? Can we do that? Right, so we have camera 3D. We probably want to set process mode to like always anyway. Can we just attach a script to the camera to control it? Maybe that's what I should do. Okay, well, Twitch wants to run some ads, so I'm going to put a pin in this for a couple minutes, stretch my legs, and when Twitch is done with ads, I'll come back and we'll try moving this stuff over to the camera script. So